beans about. She spilled the beans about Santa too early to us. Forgive me for that. It's good. You needed to grow up. God, you spoiled Santa. And you don't think I have collateral? Because stories I could tell.
Okay, what happens at a bachelor or bachelorette party is there. Unless you cross the line, Santa.
Well, nobody in this family would ever cross the line. But their friends cross the line. So they might come in. Yeah, it's not worth the risk. I mean, I don't understand the whole tradition, just the liability. I mean, I haven't seen these guys in a lot of years. It's nice to catch up before the actual wedding. Yeah, pick up right where you. Yeah, that sounds more like a no. No, we did. It's just after a few days, you can't really pretend you're all still back in college. There's a distance between. Sometimes those cracks are hard to ignore. They'll swallow you whole if you let them.
What do you mean?
People come and go and come again in life. You can't worry about the gaps in time. The thing about it is the time that you have with them. And as you get older, the more you realize that making the most of that time is all that matters. And you don't think I have collateral? Because the stories I could tell?
Okay, what happens at a bachelor or bachelorette party is there. Unless you cross the line, Santa.
Well, nobody in this family would ever cross the line. Or let their friends cross the line, hard as they might try. Yeah, it's not worth the risk. I mean, I don't understand the whole tradition, just the liability. I mean, I haven't seen these guys in a lot of years. It was just nice to catch up before the actual wedding. Yeah, pick up right where you left off. Yeah, that sounds more like a no. No, we did. It's just after a few days, you can't really. You're all still back from college. There's a distance between. Sometimes those cracks are hard to ignore. They'll swallow you up.
What do you mean?
People come and go and come again in life. You can't worry about the gaps in time. All you can worry about is the time that you have with them.
Good morning. I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, I think you're reacting quite well right now.
Steve just said, hey, how can the board possibly trust you anymore after this? They should fire you.
They should fire me.
Well.
Okay, so I was 2 off.
What can I say? It's still 2 off.
Okay.
So, I sent out the CMH memo.
Yeah.
Wondered if you wanted to come over for lunch and review it.
I can do that. I have a 11:45 chiropractor appointment, but it's on that side of town. So definitely. After, because I'm getting ready to step into one of these Ottawa County meetings. Uh, 12 o'clock. Well, he's pretty good. You know, he gives me a lot of grace.
You can't no longer trust Jack on anything. If he says 12, it's probably going to be like 12:30, just so you know. You should plan accordingly. You know?
Hey, Steve, you're not going to really be led down this path, will you?
believe it. I have my heart set on that number 6.
Look, just balance the harms. Just balance the harms.
Michigan State's gonna be 6. Jack told us Michigan State's gonna be 6. Now look at me, egg all over my face. I'm telling you.
Well, that's pretty easy to scrape off. Anyway, Purdue lost last night.
They lose to.
Ohio State.
No, kid, it must have been at Ohio State.
Nope, it was at Purdue.
What? That's shocking. That is shocking.
Yeah.
Well, that means Michigan's the only other one-loss team then. So we've got at least a 2-game lead on everybody except Michigan right now.
That's it. And Michigan has to play Purdue at Purdue next game. Oh, yeah.
Michigan's not gonna win. Can you imagine if we beat Rutgers in Minnesota, be at 9-0, and have at least a 2-game lead on everybody else? Wow.
And I think then I can safely predict we'll be number 6.
Sure you don't want to say, I don't know, number 4 or number 5 or
No,
something
no,
like
because I'm being beaten up so badly. I don't want to stretch my neck out any further.
Well, hey, when you come over today, can you bring a couple of heat warmer things with you?
Is it that cold there?
56, 55 degrees in here when I
Whoa.
came in the morning.
I'll keep my coat on.
Yeah.
So we'll have it up to, by the time you get here, it'll be up to about 65, so it should be okay.
Okay. Well, let me get into this meeting.
Yeah, we'll let you know. All right.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't know why we're not in yet.
Me either. But maybe they're still just getting settled.
I guess they are. Maybe it's so cold in the building that they just don't want to get on.
I could appreciate that. It's definitely cold.
I can too. It's cold here. It's -4, and that's without the wind chill.
I don't think I haven't looked since earlier this morning. I'll double check just for fun.
I don't think you
I'm
can
I'm at
put the word
-1, so you
Oh,
know,
wow.
I'm much warmer than you.
balmy. I don't think you can put the word fun in the same sentence as that.
No, no, as excited as the kids are to have a snow day, it's kind of like, yeah, and you're gonna be inside.
Yeah, those days are over for me, but I
Yeah.
can well appreciate the sentiment. The kids love this kind of weather.
Mhm.
See if I can find out where Kim is.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 61663833931 is not available. At the tone, please record your message.
See Kim. She just popped up.
There we go. There's that. All right.
There you are.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I went and got coffee and then caught up at HR where I brewed it, and they got a little chatty. So,
Shame on them.
yes. So, I clearly don't work for HR, so they were talking. So, but I got coffee here for us people that drove and are a little chilly. So, all
What's the
right.
temperature there?
My car said -3. So,
I have a -4 without the wind chill. So
yeah. So.
Okay, we're gonna go.
I think we're good to go, so I'm gonna remember how to record.
Yep.
Oh, it just started, okay. That's nice. All right.
In order. Like, and hopefully at the tail end of a head cold, so that's why I'm wearing the mask today. Hopefully I'll try to speak up so everybody can hear. Do we want to start with some introductions, just because we have some newer faces in the room again today? So we'll start and we'll get around. I'm Kelly Gower, BC Network, and I'm the chairperson.
Tom Mahoney, Republic Services.
Nick Carlson, Goodwill Industries, West Michigan.
I'm Kim Walters. I am the environmental health supervisor and the materials management coordinator.
I'm Molly Sherwood of Fleece and Vandenbrink. I'm a consultant to the county on materials management planning.
Dan Broersma, City of Holland Vice Chair.
Russ Boersma with Earl Waste. Paul Sachs with Ottawa County. I'm representing regional planning.
I'm Ted Costigan, Fulton Township.
Dan Tiema, Organicycle.
I'm James Reichard. I work with public health and sustainability.
And the secretary.
Another little book in Ottawa County.
Joe Bush, Ottawa County Water Resources Commissioner.
And then online we have Jack Jordan.
Jack Jordan, Corporate Counsel for Ottawa County.
Jeff Kirchmerrick, Recycling Specialist with Eagle.
Carrie Bliss, recycling at Padness.
I'm Matt McPherson. I'm the new communications manager with Kent County DPW. So I'm just sitting in on this meeting.
All right, well, thanks everybody and happy new year. Thanks for being here today and making it here to this place. I think our first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes. For the minutes from the last meeting in December. Did you guys to take a look at those?
I'll motion to approve. Support.
Any discussion?
One thing I noticed, I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but in the motion to approve, let's see here. There's second page motion to approve, it shows seconded, but it doesn't show who seconded it or who seconded the motion.
On the work program.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I just noticed that when I was reading through it. second.
If not, I can go to the recording.
Okay.
So we'll just add. So approve with the addition of who seconded?
Yeah, just,
Okay.
that was just something I noticed, and I also, since I wasn't here, I really liked, what Ross said about things that aren't necessarily in the plan, but like the HHW, making sure we put that in our plan. I thought that was awesome, and just curious if there's other things like that that we should be thinking about as we go forward, that should be in that plan.
Yeah.
That's actually a typo. It says Ross Borsman instead of Russ Borsman.
It is still. So-
As long as we're fixing names, that was MAHOE.
Did it not? So we
Oh,
caught
yeah.
those, by the way. Like, we even made a joke about like Ross, and I'm like, were you thinking Friends? Like, and then it must have converted back somehow, so, and then, I don't know.
Yeah, it's right on the, roster under the, I don't know the plan, but it's there, it's not a big deal, but.
Yeah.
We're fixing stuff, and we'll.
Well, it's just weird that it did that. I was thinking, I know, like, I think Mahoney, like, not like,
Yeah.
you don't say honey, but that's how I think about spelling it. All right, so we'll do those edits. So add second. Which we did, but still somehow converted back.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes with those corrections, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Next up, public comment.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Wait till the end.
All right. Next one is to approve the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
So,
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? Okay, and we'll move right into the discussion items. The first one is the work program.
And then what I'm gonna do, so everyone can see the work program that we have so far, I'm gonna share my screen, which takes me a few seconds. There. I did try, oh yeah, see, look at that, worked. Try to set things up in advance. Worked for once.
Nope.
Okay. Now I will admit that I sent you as a last minute edits that I've been working on with it, so the ones that you have printed are the ones that you should, that is this one. So Eagle, sorry Kelly, I'm gonna take over.
Yeah, no.
So, since I've been working on this. Eagle, so we submitted the one that you guys approved with the edits that Kelly and I had made. I also beautified it a little bit, I figured. Part of the beautifying is because my skill level is not the best, and I could not get the page number to start with a 1. It wanted to start with 2. It would not put a 1 on the first page because so I put a cover page and fixed that problem, which it needed something to make it nice anyways. But so one of the things that we needed to put on there was the grant manager information, which is me, which is also the DPA contact. So, and I have been talking a lot with, and I've been talking a lot with DAR recently and looked at their plan, as well as I looked at some of the other plans now that the grant has been out. So I looked at the grant format and others, which now the grant's out, they have a template based on what the grants want. So that's where some of this also came out of, like why we have the actual DPA and the DPA contact, and then the county approval agent. So some of the format, but essentially I didn't have to change much, which was really nice.
Question.
Yeah,
So I apologize. So
Yeah, that's
our
fine.
Last meeting, it
Yep.
looked like one was approved and that was submitted, and now
Mhm.
we're looking at from the feedback that you got once you submitted it.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yep, once I submitted it,
Want
so,
to make sure.
yeah, nope, I appreciate that. So what I should do is take a step back. And so we submitted ours before the grant was submitted. So we did it based on the law and based on our due date. And so the state honored those and went back and gave us feedback based on that, based on what they had put into the grant, as well as, just standard, okay, these are the items that you need to resubmit, and this is the new format per the grant of how you need to submit it. So, yeah, sorry about that. It's hard when I'm doing like 100 things, like to catch up, but yeah, so that's what, and actually, this is the email that we got back. So this is the email I got back. So these are the items. The state said back, thank you for submitting your work program. I did have it up, so. So contact information for the grant manager, the breakdown of our tasks within 1 year, because we had it for a multiple year, because they didn't clarify what time frame they wanted in the law. And then our budget table slightly exceeded. As you can see, we had 211, and they want us to stay within the grant funding structure. And then they want to submit it through the Survey Monkey. So really, for having no grant base, we did pretty good. Which makes updating it pretty easy. So, and some of it's kind of just fine tuning. So just fine tune this little section to have that I'm the grant manager. And I clarified to make sure that that meant it's who you're gearing the questions towards. So that's that part that I updated. I added this on here just to make sure. I thought that it would be nice to have you guys also approve it again, post edits. It didn't say that was required. But I thought it would be good, another sign off on you guys. So I left that date on there. So that we could do that. Unless you guys don't want to. Then you don't have to. I think, yeah.
Timeline if I.
Yeah, and I think, it's a document and I feel like you should approve it again. So I have, this was something that we had on there, which is everyone's positions. And this is, it prints better. The problem is there's no good way. So there's a couple ways. Everyone did this part a little bit different. And I didn't want to boggle it down with a whole bunch of sheets. So I combined this with some work that Molly had already done, with some work that I had seen some others had done, and as well as what I had done. So I combined a bunch of information I had. So there's essentially 2 types of things that the state wants. And this will not show well up on here. So if you have a paper copy, it's probably a little bit better. But essentially what you need to know is that you need to have a general timeline and a little bit more of a detailed task-based timeline. So the general ones I have here, so it's like initiate planning, establish the MMPC grants, MMP staffing and administration, stakeholder engagement, baseline assessment, gap analysis. And then they fall under these detailed subtasks. And then the black marks are the general times, and these are all quarters. I did fiscal year because that's how we budget. So some people did calendar years. Based on how everything is funded, I just went that way. So these were dates that I know, and here are completion dates that we have. Some of them I just wrote, yes, they're completed. And so we can kind of keep tabs. And I think, there can be a back end, more detailed calendar, but this is based on what I saw. And another thing that was required is who are the responsible parties. So Uh,
see this addition. Nice job.
Yeah, yeah, because now we can kind of do this part, you know, based on what we have and what, um,
And you said Eagle only asked for the year one or year
yeah,
one?
that was one of the things that when we were doing it, we didn't know what they wanted. And so now we know that the grant terms are 1 year. So we only had to focus on 1 year.
Yeah.
And,
The only reason I ask is
Yeah.
when we went through Kent County is, I think it paid off 3 years, didn't it? In that timeline, but,
yeah,
you know,
Dark-
just because we
yeah.
spent on both, I was,
yeah, Kent's is only 1 year too.
was it? Okay.
Yeah. I think he probably has a general 3 years too, but when I looked at his, it was only 1 year as well.
They same feedback to me about doing it for one.
So, I mean, he sent two, so, but, yeah, and that's what you're getting, yeah, that's what's, you know, I mean, Eagle is being nice and providing feedback, so it's nice. And we might additionally get feedback still, I don't know, I haven't submitted this yet, so. I kept the public participation that we submitted the same. Cause they didn't give me any feedback saying I needed to change it, so, cost, which they had asked to change, as well as I talked to my administration. So, so that would be my health officer. And so for one, so this isn't, so when you change things, I have to get new numbers. Well, then, and also when we submitted it, it was before December. So, and after January, we had a cost of living wage increase, so I want to make sure I'm also submitting the most up-to-date things, so, as well as we talked about changing the types of staffing a little bit to more aligned with environmental health type staffing. So these changed a little bit, what I was thinking for staffing, and then how, based on needing to stay within the grant funding structure, how much is being funded by the grant might change. So until I get the fringe, I don't fully have the number. So as of right now, without the fringe, this is how much the grant would be covering. And so I added this line item here so we can see more clear what the first year grant cost would be. So it would be all these items added up. So try to make it a little bit more easier to read. So the only item that's missing at this time. And then the other question I was still gonna ask Eagle, and that we had a work session with a whole bunch of DPAs, and one thing we're still not clear is, one of the things that we had the initial understanding is that if there was any grant funds left over, that you could hold it so that if you had other types of infrastructure type projects that you wanted to do, you could use it for that. So you still have the whole $208,000, but let's say I only use 200,000 for the first year. I could hold that $8,000. And if I needed to roll it into the next year, or let's say at the end of all this, I had a total, the first 3 years, I had a total of $20,000. And we had some sort of infrastructure project that we wanted to do for, let's say, our existing sites, we could do that. But now with how the grant's written, I haven't had a chance to email and ask about that. That was a big question that a lot of the DPAs had, is with the new grant structure, how does that work? Like, because initially the law read that it's yours. It's just, here's your amount. Yeah, you still have to prove where you're spending it, but it's still your money. So I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if Jeff knows that answer, but that's still a question. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how to put that into the work program.
Yeah. I just want to put a caveat in there regarding those leftover funds. There's a couple of infrastructure grants within Ottawa County currently for like
Yeah.
$1 million a piece, and that money cannot be used as match. I just wanted to make that clear, when,
I know that one.
okay,
That's for new. Yep, I knew that's new and separate. Yep.
okay.
Yeah, but what I don't know is for like our existing sites, that was what my thought, so that would be for our new site. If we did a new site, it would be for but the thoughts are, let's say I have my existing sites and we want to fix those for this. That's where, like, if we have $8,000 left for infrastructure to address some of the new items, let's say we want to really make our composting more robust at the sites here. But we don't know until we get through all this.
Yeah.
Then we
If
have
that-
$8,000 left in the grant funding to do it.
Yeah. If that feeds into your goals and objectives that you come up with, yes, you can use that money for those types of projects.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. All right. Thank you. But yeah, so that's what I have right now. Thanks, Jeff.
So
Yeah.
Your table, talk about creating descriptions and posting positions this month or next. With the funding, and I don't know if you've talked to HR or how that works, but these positions will be known that they're grant funded, and we're not kind sure what will happen beyond the grant with these positions.
Yeah. So I talked to Addie this week. And so I talked to Addie, and the plan is my next 2 weeks is to create the job descriptions, do all that stuff, and then to go to the board this in March for the positions so essentially in March, it would be bring the grant. Well, not this is part of it. The grants positions and with grants positions. Yeah, I think, and the consultant. I was like, I knew there was one more thing, contract. All those three items together. Because they are technically essentially a packet. With those would all to go. And then the continuous funding would be part of the discussion. But part of that is also, it's on the board to decide because it's essentially on the board to decide about the continuous funding. And that's part of the 4-year plan. So it's one of those items that they are going to essentially have to decide on. So that was part of the discussion. So, because theoretically, we have a decent amount of fund balance, and the part of the discussion too is the Southwest landfill always comes up with it because essentially that's why our fund balance is being drawn down, and that's where all some of the funding issues came from. So, and that's not our program's problem that was happened. So
Positions 0.4 FTE.
Yeah.
Would be challenging to fill.
oh no, so that's how much the grant is paying for.
Grant is just.
Yeah, they're all 1.0. Yes. Yes. Yeah, so that's why clarifying point is I can only talk about the grant items in the work program. I have plenty of work for them to do. I mean, honestly, I would hire 1.0s without having grant work to do. But
So the other 0.6, you have funding coverage available already during the grant period.
yes. Yeah, there's essentially there's fund balance we could use. I know tipping fees we had more last year than it was expected, as well as there is still some fund balance in our program. And then again, the rest of it's up to decide for the board to decide. Yeah.
That'll be a good discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we decided to leave it at. It's for the board, because essentially, in the end, the board is the one that has to decide how much they want to put into this program as well. Because we, as this committee, can make this great and wonderful idea, but if there's no one to fund it, whether, the funding tracks, like we've discussed this numerous times before, you can make a majestic plan. And if no one wants to fund a majestic plan, well, that goes nowhere. So you gotta support it somehow. So,
And these, sorry for rushing.
no, it's fine. If they're all, I mean, if they're valid questions. Uh-huh.
The positions that are recommended, they align with what counties are looking at as well in terms of creating a robust
Yeah.
management.
Well, actually, right now, currently, so I've actually looked into funding, like my current position, so like even my current site attendance positions are actually underpaid based on Kent County's and Kalamazoo staffing. So we're underpaying our staff currently. And then our positions and all that infrastructure is, yeah, it's all in line with everyone else. Yeah. So the biggest thing is HHW, recycling, everything else is growing. So something's growing, you need staff to do it. So. And I've even talked, and like all the DPAs are having similar things. I talked to, I think it's something, John or Joe Rock, or he was in Monroe County, and he says like, sometimes you have the same problem I have, which is you have a decent sized structure, but you're understaffed, you're, a singular person, and you're trying to do all these things. The thing is too, is you also have other people, they're talking to you and you're growing and you don't know what to do because you're one person trying to do a lot of things. So, yeah.
So these positions will be fully funded by the county after the 3-year period of time, and everyone will still stay on? and
Yes. Yeah, so,
Request.
The request one.
Yes.
yeah, so they will stay on. So so theoretically, the idea is that the grant helps you get through that period of transition. It's just to help you get through that transitional period while you figure out things. The staff is needed now. It was needed a couple years ago.
Yep.
Because if you look at our numbers, the materials are growing, the people are coming to our sites are growing, the want and the need are growing. The data shows it, and that's without the materials plan saying you need to have this, this, and this. So if more MRFs come to the county, which creates more availability to do things. So if we have just more knowledge out there too, to do the right thing, if that's the problem, yeah.
Have these positions or need for additional staff in this space been requested in past years through position request processes at the county?
No, because I haven't had funding to be able, not necessarily funding, but so I haven't had, the last few years I've had a board set up where I haven't felt comfortable to ask for it yet. So, and then before that, I was working on getting my sites set up. So for example, we added scrap tire program. So then we also got tires, which then increased the amount of tires we got, which then consequently increased the amount of services. So more people coming. So we started composting. So then that also creates more people to the sites. So, and then we got an educational type grant. So we started talking to more people and started going to farmers markets. So then again, it creates awareness. So more people have been aware that we're actually out there. Because that's one thing that's odd, but people aren't aware that you can drop your hazardous waste off at our sites. So, and people are still constantly, when they find out we're there, like, we had no clue. So the more people that are aware that our services are out there, especially if we end up getting our site out in Allendale, which is still the intent, hopefully, if the board still chooses to go that route, that would just increase it even more too. So, which is another reason why staffing would clearly have more to do.
Those will be important discussions that you'll have.
Yep. No. Yeah, any more questions about like staffing and program or?
I have a question on the funding sources, so.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit,
Yeah, down more, like possible funding sources.
well, I think that's at the
Yeah.
end, so probably, but it-
Probably down more. Oh,
I'm just curious, it says the grant provides 60,000 after the first 3 years.
Yep, so that's continuous.
I was just reading the
Mhm.
grant award, it just said for the first 3 years.
So that's the additional, that's technically how they word that part is the 50 cents per capita for the first 3 years. So,
And that's annual, 208, 100 each year for the first 3 years, correct? I think it says it down lower, talks about it being annual, there talks about.
yeah, the grant to provide for the first 3 years. Yeah. It's hard to word these all. It's very confusing. So, okay, let's
Yeah,
see.
but maybe
The
add
primary
annual.
funding source for the MMP for the first 3 years include the initial 208 from the state grant for the first 3 years. Grant to
Okay.
provide 60 after the first 3 years. Yeah. So it's 60 after the first year. So you're gonna get this. So this total lumps in this plus the 50 cents per capita.
You also say it.
Okay, okay. Okay. I'm like, there's a lot of reading to do in front of you guys, so,
Go all the way to the last pair.
okay,
Yeah, I see where in
Yeah.
the grant that
right
says
there.
60,000 for each county and planning area. It
Yeah.
just says in each of the first 3 years. It doesn't say, I couldn't find anywhere.
Okay.
Where it said to continue thereafter.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so you do, there's continuous funding. I think the idea with the $60,000 is it's for someone to manage.
Well, that wasn't a part of the grant. I do remember reading that earlier in the actual MMP plan.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
All right, yeah, I didn't wonder if it was referred.
it was referred to. I do remember it, but I don't remember where.
Okay,
Because we were talking about this before, and I remember the discussion, well, that's not enough for.
yeah. Yeah, and I know I tried to word it so that that it was under the idea that there's like two parts that you really gotta look at with cost. It's, the startup, let's get this going, and then it's the continuing it going. So. And so essentially with this discussion is, there are changes in here, things we want to look at, things you essentially don't agree with still, or anything like that. Whether we want to, obviously talking about it now helps us fix it. If there's little like grammatical changes and stuff, grammatical changes are very helpful if you send them to me. Because talking about them, harder to see it, whereas if it's grammatical, if you send it to me, then it's an easy, all right, insert, change.
I guess I have a question on
Yeah.
on the host agreement.
Yeah.
Is the intent in there saying that there's not enough that the host agreements would be renegotiated, or, I mean, because they're contracts as they are now, I don't
Yeah.
know that they have the ability to be opened up or canceled. So just, and maybe that's a question more for Jack.
My intent
I'm
when I
just wondering what the intent of that.
yeah,
Intent, I need to sit down.
yeah. So I will say that my intent when I put it in here
Yeah,
is that that's part of the everything,
just kind of where the funding is.
that's part of the funding of everything. It's not necessarily, so I will say like on the back end of it, so yes, the county will have to talk to you guys again. What that looks like, that's, for me as like the supervisor DPA part of it, that's not, that's essentially those agreements are between you and the county.
And that's all I
So,
want to make sure
yeah.
that this doesn't
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah,
override, supersede and
Yeah.
say, well. we got,
Yeah. yeah, so, and then,
Utah.
yeah.
For this, so.
yeah, for your understanding, this is just part of a grant. Essentially is how, if I were you, this is not like the materials management plan where then it becomes part of the law. Yeah, that's not, yeah, this is not part of law. This is part of my grant, essentially.
Where some of your.
Yeah, 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 so I see, like, yeah. So this is not part of law now. This is just, this is saying, this is our general plan. These are our possible funding sources for continued. This is how we theoretically will be continuously funding this program going forward. How I envision is, yes, the host agreements, whatever they may look like in the future, could be one of the options. It could be, like I think I mentioned in there, private partners, private public partnerships. It could be, for all I know, millages. It could be ordinances. And I'm just, what I'm trying to do is list, here's all these possible options that we can look at too. We have 3 years to essentially look at and lock these down.
Okay, I just want to make
So,
sure
yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
backing myself in the corner.
Yeah. No, this is just, essentially, this is the strategic plan of a grant. So. Yeah.
And one other question.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no.
asking too many questions.
No.
When they added all up or added all the money up, I think it was like only 114,000 of the potential 208.
Yes, and that's without fringe, which does add a decent amount.
Yeah. But is there anything in there for education?
So that's where so that's where the training part, and I could see, and that's where I want to play with the numbers, and that's why I kept playing with these, and that's what I hope. So what I think that's a good idea. So when you say,
Residential education.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's just a big.
Mhm.
No, I agree.
And then, looking at the item number 4 under staffing needs and responsibilities, it does say residents have also expressed a strong desire for more education and outreach. So if there was a way
Mhm.
to be able to use some of that funding to
Yeah.
at least get it started, or
Yeah, so, and that's where too, and you gotta remember too, this is year 1.
Yep.
So, and that's why I do have this person, which is the outreach specialist, like an infrastructure. So this person is to help start setting those types of things up. So the idea with this person is to help keep the sites going. And then also start setting up those structures to be able to start educating. So like getting things into schools, getting things, like the farmers markets, starting to do like other outreach, finding those resources.
it looks like it's all majors.
Yep, but then, yeah. So, but this is year 1. So, and then,
Which we wouldn't have, we're just getting everything set up, so.
yeah,
As long as there's a long term into.
yeah.
the overall plan.
Yeah, and the thing is too, education when actually it's like setting up spaces. So, and that's where some of this is figuring out the plan part of it. And if we find, so from my understanding, like some of it is actually, there's other grants out there for education. And then like for me, like finding a space to do certain types of outreach stuff tends to be like free.
Yeah.
But it's the materials or the paper, and that's where some of it, like I said, I can
Yeah.
play with. And that's why I want to try to get like leftovers, and that's where I can put that, it's,
But that
and then
also
that-
goes into our center, as we have very large educational space that we
Mhm.
are gonna want to partner with the counties, both Allegan and.
Yeah.
So I was thinking even like
Yeah.
mailers or, just
Yeah.
some sort of.
yeah. I did have this more, and that's where like this part, and that's where I'm trying to play with these like numbers, but I don't know what the fringe is yet. That's why I left this low right now. Like I said, there's still a lot to play with,
Okay,
but I didn't.
so your intent is to get up to the 208,000?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
essentially,
I
that's
just
what,
want-
yeah,
I'm not saying we spend money, we don't have to, but if it's available, we could do something with it.
yeah,
Yeah, education's a big piece.
yeah, that's what, I think that's like the largest piece, and that's why I want it. Cause right now, that's my biggest thing I can't do.
I just didn't want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's part of the thing is too, is I also, and that's something to forget is I also have this, like, I have program funding already too, you know, like, and I have others, like, we have public health, you know, like, we have health educators and I have other program, you know, that's one thing that's really nice is I'm trying to reduce some of these other costs with because it really, honestly, yeah, 200,000 is a decent amount of money. But by reducing some of these others, like technically I could probably have 5, 6 other staffs to try to do all these other things to be able to do a really good plan. What I'm also trying to do is utilize, let's say, our epi department that was already creating like dashboards and automating so that some of my other staff can help do some other things too. And data collect or hiring an intern. So that we can, I say temp staff, it's really an intern, but we call it temp staff. You can get, so by hiring a temp staff, I can give an intern a wage that they'll actually want to apply for a job. So otherwise it's $14. So that's where some of the creative changes occurred. But yes, so. And the temp staff, the intern, their job is to get data and be out there and help educate and. Yeah, so. Yeah. I've not forgot about education, but yes. But my focus, I think, on education is probably in the next step more so, is to gather the data and how best to educate. That's my thought for this first step. But I don't want to educate. Yeah,
I'm good. I just
yeah.
thought that
No, I appreciate that. I'll make a note on that too, is because that's something that's easy, gets pushed back because funding, honestly. Any other?
But just for discussion today, we're not an action item.
Yeah, unless you guys want to make it one, but my thoughts were that you guys, hopefully I can make the changes and maybe vote on it in February so that I can bring it to the board in March.
Question on the work program, we can move on to the Eagle grant is the next action item.
Yeah, that will be just real quick. I just wanted to mention it. The Eagle grant came out. That's why these changes have occurred. Essentially it's submitting this. There was changes and the biggest thing is it's a reimbursement grant, which I already kind of knew would probably be it. I know some counties weren't expecting that. That's the biggest thing. And then I also wanted to provide you guys the link to it in case you guys wanted to actually look at it. But yeah, I think I already kind of touched on all the big things with it, with the discussion.
About the grant. All right, well, thanks, Kim, for all your work on that. And then, we are up to a presentation from Molly. So Molly, thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm gonna stand up just so I can see people around the corner. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Molly Sherwood. I'm with Fleece and Vandenbrink, consulting firm based in Grand Rapids. Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, before.
Yeah.
We recently were awarded the consulting work with Ottawa County and are at the very beginning stages of scoping out exactly what that's going to look like. I'm going to be working with Matt Violet, who many of you may also know. He is has a history in the solid waste.
Here we go again.
Here we go. Everybody seems to know Matt. So Matt and I are working together, doing a lot of materials management planning work, and he's going to be one of my resources in, helping to work with Ottawa County through this material management process. We can go forward. For those who don't know me, I have, a career's worth of experience in the waste industry. I used to work for Kent County. I was there for 24 years or something like that in managing, facilities for public works and, helping with the overall strategic organization and planning for, Kent County DPW. But now, I'm working in consulting. Fleece and Vandenbrink is a local company, based primarily in Grand Rapids, but we have locations all over the state of Michigan and also down into, Indiana. And this company started as an engineering firm, has over the years developed an environmental group, and we primarily serve municipal clients. We work very strongly in the world of grants. We help our clients obtain grants and do grant funded work. And a lot of that historically has been infrastructure type work with water and sewer and things like that, but we've branched out into a lot of different grant type work as a company. As I said, I'm in the environmental services group. We also have a full-fledged engineering group that does all kinds of municipal engineering. We have construction group that constructs the things that the engineers design. Basically doing whatever we can do to serve our municipal clients. And we work with a lot of counties, a lot of townships and cities and villages throughout the state of Michigan. So part of what Kim and I have been talking about is how F&V will be able to assist the county, assist the MMPC in this planning process. After going through the work program and looking at the county's plans for adding staff and what responsibilities are going to be, it is very important to note that F&V is here to help. We are here to assist whenever and wherever we are needed. We can assist with data gathering, with data interpretation. We can be the eyes and ears out there within the county. What's very important to note is that both Matt and I live here in Ottawa County. I'm a lifelong resident of West Michigan, and I grew up in Holland, and I live in Holland now. So Ottawa County is very important to us. This is home to us, and we really take this work to heart. It's important to us, and we are very honored to be able to help you with this work. So what we can provide is time and people assistance when that is needed. The way that the contract is being worked out with the county is that we're basically going to be kind of on call to assist on a project level. What will eventually happen is when the committee or when Kim needs help with a certain task, we'll be able to provide her a task-based budget and timeline for that and work through that on a task-by-task basis. So we don't have a specific directive at this point, but we're here to help whenever and wherever we are needed. We also can help keep certain aspects of the project moving forward. All of you have jobs outside of this. You're all busy with other things. You don't have all of your time available to devote to the Ottawa County materials management planning. Kim has some of her time, but she has other responsibilities too. So we're here to be that extra set of eyes and ears and to be able to help out wherever we're needed. And our role here is really to be a partner to the county. We aren't here to dictate policy or to dictate the direction that the county chooses in any of its planning. That comes down to the planning committee. So we're just here to help and to step in wherever we can.
Kim's taking notes.
Yeah, it wants to keep flipping to the next one, so I'm trying.
And now it's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So the other slide that was up for a moment.
Yeah.
One thing that was brought up by Kim and that we've talked about is the importance of gathering, realistic and valid data. Because that data is going to form the basis from which decisions are made. Data in this industry is often proprietary. And it's often a very closely guarded secret. I mean, we have definite big players in the game sitting in this room who I'm sure are willing to share a certain amount of data, but nobody wants to give up everything. So our thought, we can gather data where it's available. We can take snapshots of data and extrapolate that out to full years. There is data that is available through the state that is reported by landfills. There is no equivalent reporting by recycling facilities, but that data is being gathered. So we can work with facilities to help get the data that they're willing to share and use that data to extrapolate out into a full year's worth of information. We have a lot of knowledge of the industry in West Michigan. I have a pretty clear picture of where materials travel, whether it's into, out of the county, where landfills and disposal facilities are located. And so having that knowledge will help us to be able to figure out the picture of exactly where materials are going within the county or leaving the county in some cases. And we'll use that local knowledge and expertise to help develop a clear picture of the materials management system as it currently exists. That data will then be used.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I have it right in front of me, so
I just don't know why it wants to just keep.
I think the slideshow set up.
Oh, it's like auto.
Like a show.
slide forward.
So I'm just gonna do this. I'm sorry. Lisa won't keep moving.
Another big part of what we can assist with is with the gap analysis. Once we formulate this picture of the current setting here, look at where the county wants to go in the future and where the county chooses to make improvements and to increase diversion, and then take that information to determine through a gap analysis, exactly what it is that's going to be needed. And we can look at things like cost and timelines for development and things like that, just through our experience in this industry. So that's pretty much where we are. I'm at Kim's beck and call when she needs me, and I will be available to attend meetings or to help out wherever I can. Does anyone have questions?
What's the first assignment Kim has given?
She asked me to help with the timeline, because we talked about the fact that I already kind of had one that I've been playing with, so I was able to share that with her, and so she could use that information in developing the work program.
Yeah,
That was good. Like I said, that was good to see. Thank you.
Yeah, I took a lot of like the subtask where I took some of those and I played with based on Eagles, and I think yours was like yours is like
the full 3 years.
Yeah, and so yeah.
What other counties are you working with?
I'm currently working with Shiawassee, and I'm also potentially working with a couple counties in northern Michigan.
And are there NDAs or where that kind of stuff can't be shared, or is it all open? So you learn something at a different one, you can share with us.
Yeah.
I know our contract, when they were starting to write it, they had confidentiality stuff in there just because it's typical type legal language. And I told them to remove it because
We don't have that.
yeah, I was like, well, I mean, first of all, it's foiable
Yeah,
anyways, but
right.
yeah, but at the same time, it's like my hopes, and I'm already doing a lot of that, is I want to help it, but I want to be a network, I don't want to be, be
If we can avoid
isolated.
it for you,
Yeah,
we're all about that.
yeah. Well, that too, and I think the whole intent of, like, I don't know, my thoughts are the intent of a material management plan.
Yeah.
Should be that we are all working together to create these resources so that essentially our county help, Kent County or whatever, so we can get
Right.
these materials somewhere,
Right.
so.
There's so much planning going on throughout the state and everyone's learning this new process, so
Yeah.
as much as we can share.
Yeah.
Are you working with any of the counties that are working together? Like, I know there's groups of certain.
Like Lincoln County.
I'm not,
Yeah.
but Matt is.
Just Matt, okay.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of interesting to see what they come up with and,
Right.
I know there's a lot of frustration currently with a lot of multi-counties because it's hard to read the language and the guidance, because it's so more geared and easier to understand as a single county versus a multi-county. So, and that's, some of the frustration that I've seen, is because it's hard to put some of the stuff for each county, so.
Is there an advantage to doing multiple county, or is it more so just population density makes it easier?
They did make it financially more, so you get an extra 10,000 per county.
Okay, there are some incentives for.
Yeah. And it's essentially resources too. So if you think about the UP, to get that many resources together, people and all that, so then yeah, and then essentially people that care, yeah, so. And then some of them, their big industries are all in one spot. And then you have a lot more rural, so that's another reason. So. She's here to ask questions, so,
Anything else? I love fielding questions.
yeah. But my intent is to have our contract with her, not her, but with F and V.
F and V.
Okay, I had to say it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, with F and V, to go through with our grant, so that everything would be officially going through at the same time.
And will they be doing a lot of the data collection as well? Like you talked about trying to get as clean of data as possible.
My hope is to have, guidance essentially too. So that was my hope with having an intern, as part of the staff. In theory, that would be that's why that one's 100% funded through the grant. Because I said temp staff on there, but, that would be one if we did, choose not to continue on with after the grant. I think, yeah, there's always educational opportunities and stuff, but, that would be the person that would be doing the calling, the researching, the help based on guidance from them.
Okay.
So it would, essentially, it's the guiding of how best to collect the data, because some of the struggles are, is that our industry is, so, privately owned. So how do you get that best and how best to collect it? So, yeah, so essentially it's the guiding resources and, yeah, because that's what we're lacking is how best to collect the data and and then how best to compile it. To
Make it
mean something,
useful, yeah.
make it useful.
Kim, I have a question for you. With these new positions, what is a realistic timeline for actually getting people on board?
That all depends on, what the board agrees on.
Mhm.
The new board schedules, they meet like essentially twice. So the first meeting would be the 1st March, so that's the introduction to it. I think, and then the next one, so hopefully April would be when we could post it, or late
Okay.
March. And then, so
Then it's
April,
just a matter of finding people.
yeah.
Okay.
So, now it doesn't mean that we can't do some of that stuff, in the meantime going forward.
Right.
So that's why I try to get that timeline and I try to share with you, so.
Yeah. Okay.
But, yeah.
All right.
But some of the positions I think we could fill pretty quick internally, so,
Okay. Wonderful.
yeah.
All right, thanks, everyone. If any questions pop up, I'm on the group, email list for this meeting, so feel free to shoot any questions my way if you think of anyone.
She's been a very big value to my management task force for the city of Collins for many years.
Yeah.
So there's,
I go-
needed a plug, but
I
there's
go
a
way
plug. Yeah. So-
I go way back with the Holland group too, working with them.
Yeah. And one of the things I appreciated with F&B is the locality of it. So again, I thought it was really good to have a consultant that understood Ottawa County because, you know, I want to make sure our plan reflects Ottawa County. So not just a generalized plan. So.
Thanks, Molly. We look forward to working with you.
Yeah.
Next discussion item is our 2025 meeting schedule. That was also attached to the email. So everybody can get a chance to take a look at that and check your calendars.
And then I did get one request, find it here, yes. From Carrie about February. Oh, that is, oh, that one. Toggle. I'll do that, I guess. She wouldn't be able to attend the 26th. So she was hoping for a different day. I can't remember, Carrie.
I can be pretty flexible. I have to go to Washington DC February 25th. And so I'll be out the 25th, 26th, and 27th. Other than that, my schedule's not too bad.
So if it's just Carrie that, you know, we can keep it, but if, you know, if people are willing to move it so she can, it's one of those kind of things, but other than that,
I'm also out February
All right.
26th and March 26th, but understand if it works for the majority to keep it as well, so.
up here for discussion, so that's why those, I just chose what we typically had done, so that's why.
I would say just keep it as is. No one plans out till December, and every month if we keep moving it, someone's schedule's gonna come up. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
let's just throw it down there. Sorry, Carrie and Russ, that you won't be able to make it, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
just plan for it.
Yeah, as long as we have quorum though at this time,
Right.
that's the biggest thing. And then obviously you guys noticed, I already moved the December and November meeting dates. So that they would not conflict with.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Oh, yeah,
I like you guys.
yeah.
So
So,
it's good to keep it on one.
Yeah.
Based and.
Yeah.
Understand that there are gonna be some conflicts with members here and there. And
yeah,
If there are issues with quorum, we can, you know, do it.
Yeah.
Say, hey, can we get together such and such a date, just figure it out too.
yeah, so. And that's why I thought too, it'd be nice just to like, and we talked about in our bylaws, having this kind of a meeting where we, you know, beginning of the year, typically we do it in January, but because of everything, doing it now. But yeah, so this would be the meeting where we're just gonna lock in these dates. And then what I would do, so this won't be an action item. To go and approve these items, this calendar then. And then, so it would be at the same time frame. It would be this, and then I did go ahead and already reserve this room just in case, so, because this is when people start reserving rooms, so. I'd rather keep it in one room versus, okay, now this meeting's in this one, and this one's in that one, so, and then what other thing? I think, yeah. So if you're good with this, then you guys can vote on it, and then I would send out I'd send a brand new meeting. So we won't have the old one, I'll send out a brand new one.
Calendar invite.
Calendar invite, yeah.
So I'll propose a motion to approve the MMPC 2025 meeting.
One of them beat Ross.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Meeting schedule, and that was our only action item. Then we can move up to item 8 in our wrap up. The bylaws, we will vote on at the next meeting.
Yes, and I did provide the most updated version. Maybe we can go back onto that and update it. So if there was anything, essentially what I wanted to hit on is just any additional updates to it, can you please let me know? Or if there's still, I did touch back on Eagle about the concern with the city position. They said that their suggested edit to the question and answer document is still in review with their admin staff or their higher up. So to have an actual, that it is verbally, and I have an email stating again that it's fine and that it is in the process of
Right.
being an official document, technically stating it, their Q&A.
Yep.
So, but technically, I don't have that yet.
Okay.
Or to refer back to, so we can't say, please see Eagle document, such and such. Yet,
But we're on our way.
or,
Kim,
yeah.
did they give an indication as to the direction they were gonna take with that?
So are you talking about the Part 115 updates or they are gonna add the question and answer documents to the elected official part. But apparently it's still an approval process. And then the Part 115 updates are apparently slated to occur this year.
Okay.
From what I understand.
Because their model bylaws were quite a bit different than the ones that I put together.
Yeah.
So are they adopting a lot of what we put in?
I don't know. I haven't heard much. I guess I've heard a bunch of every county is doing different bylaws. A lot of them are starting off with the states and then just going from there. That's all I've heard. I haven't heard much discussion about the bylaws.
Okay.
But yeah, but I heard a discussion around like what we've discussed, the elected officials and how it's actually causing issues on some people's, and that they like the idea of it actually being updated in the law or having some sort of actual documentation. And that's so that they're going to add that to at least the Q&A document that's still being processed. But that's all I got. And that they're going to process they're going to work on trying to get Part 115 done.
Yeah, they really need to put that into the law itself, the statute.
Yeah.
So.
I know that's on it's on Eagle's radar to suggest to update that, because historically it was a representative, it was historically worded like it was for the how's it representative of elected official.
A designee.
Yeah. So.
Designee. Yeah.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so possibly this year, but that means it just has to go through the process of an update.
Okay.
So that's what I know.
So I've got one quick question. In the bylaws, it says that our regular meetings, we need to have 7-day notice, and special meeting, you can have a 2-day notice. If we were to say not have quorum, if you had to, like we were talking about that situation where we said, let's just reschedule, but then we have to have a 7-day window to make sure it goes out for public, or that be considered a special if we had to cancel our regular and adjust to a second?
Question.
Yeah,
Yeah, put that on Jack.
I was like, that's a Jack question,
Yeah.
cause that would be a,
That's a good question. I think it would become a special meeting because you have already approved the regular meetings. And if you say, okay, well, we don't have a quorum, so we need to reschedule this meeting, it becomes a special meeting.
The 2 days window gives us adequate time to schedule without having to say, hey, we're going into the next month, because doing them at the end of the month, we're looking at 7 days, so 2 days, that helps us, I think.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments, questions on the bylaws for now?
And like I said, feel free just to email any changes essentially, and then I'll compile them for the next one and put them on the agenda. And if you get them to me early enough too, then Jack can review them as well.
Thanks from you, Kim.
Yeah, a big one that I wanted to mention is that I had worked with the MRC to do, I kind of mentioned a little bit, a work group. There's been a lot of frustrations and stuff developing this work because it's so new to a lot of us. And essentially it was a nice way to just be like, hey, we're lost. We don't know what we're doing. We are trying to understand all these things. And it was nice to know that you weren't alone, because a lot of these municipalities that are not municipalities, a lot of these counties, some of them they haven't even met. Like, I was surprised with how many haven't even had their committees together yet. Yeah. Well, it's hard because like in our area, like our West Michigan area, a lot of us are actually further along than some of like the other areas. And it was also interesting to find out that there's some counties that were like, well, if we don't get our money up front, we don't think we can do this. And it was just a different perspective on things, which I thought was really kind of interesting to see. And just to hear different perspectives of where people are frustrated at different points was really interesting. But at the same time, to discuss ways that we can work together, try to help each other out. And the MRC was kind of helpful in the sense that they were going to be able to like, well, here we can share a place where we can share each other's documents. Like, one of the things that I didn't even think about is some of them have never led a committee, like a committee, like they haven't had a need to. Whereas, we've had the solid waste committee having to meet before. So I've at least had to kind of stumble through open meetings, like when I had my first one, I'm like, I didn't know that I had to send it to the registered deeds. I thought I just had to post it in the paper or something, like based on what I was reading, so you stumble through the process, really what does that mean? And then like tips and tricks and things like that. And we at Public Health had someone that was like a neutral party because you didn't want to, project some of your frustrations either too. So we had one of our health educators who got like a facilitator's certificate, kind of go through it and help us with it. And it was really good and kind of shows that we all wanted to meet more regularly. It was really good. It was, so we're talking about doing some things. So I just wanted to share that we are further along than a lot and we have a lot of resources. And that we have a very strong committee. Some committees too are, sounds like there's some committee makeups too that are not really wanting to work together. So whereas I feel like so you guys know, I feel like you guys are a great committee and that you guys are willing to work together and you guys have like a commonality. And it sounds like some people are like, I'm not sure about our committee and how they'll work together. And so, but yeah, I just wanted to share that. I thought that was great. And then I also wanted to share like my plan of, I hope to bring everything that we have together here, hopefully we can start moving forward March, April, like finally, like what we've been working for. I feel like March, April is when hopefully we'll see some progression forward. So, yeah.
Any questions for Kim? Yeah, members have things they want to share, we can kind of go around or popcorn, however. Have anything?
Yeah, yeah.
How's City Highlands recycle?
It's been on hold because I went to it. So. So, to be honest with you, and now I'm doing budget, so it'll be a bit.
We have our second opportunity for public comment.
I do not.
No?
I know, but Paul, that already took my concerns about the long-term of standing in the county after the 3 years. Budgets are gonna look a little different, I think, this coming year and for next year and the year after. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I keep hearing. I don't know, Paul could probably agree, department heads are.
Yeah, we need to have all your justification pulled together nicely.
Mhm.
So that's all.
Yeah,
But Paul answered, are you guys in? That's where I was gonna go with it.
yeah.
Longevity, the big picture.
I just have something to mention. I'm just excited to see the partnership with, is it Molly?
Yeah.
Yeah, the consultancy. Just seems like such an integral piece to kind of put a gap in the missing.
Mhm.
Data collection, finding a snapshot of where we're at, just where we're gonna go. Seems like just a big step, so that's exciting to see.
Only send when Matt when you have to.
Anything from anyone online? Staying quiet, dark.
Nope,
Nothing.
nothing here.
Well, if there is nothing else, then we will look for a motion to adjourn.
Come on. Second.
All in favor? All right, and our next meeting, February 26th, 9 a.m., take place. All right, everybody drive there.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Stay warm.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Day of frigid temps.
And you weren't down to the desk,
Yeah,
right?
Or at least get back out.